Hello, and welcome to the Somewhat Underrated Podcast. I'm your host, Scott, along with my co-host, Tyler.
Hello.
And today we have, for our return episode, special guest, SuperMCGamer.
Bless.
So we've got a nice action-packed episode for you guys for our return. It's been how many months, Tyler?
I would say 3, but you told me it was 6, so
It's
somewhere. We've been off for a while.
It's been quite a while. So we've been up to a bunch of stuff during our absence. For one, I changed names and got new channels across all of my platforms. So that's one thing that changed for me. And of course, I did a whole bunch of stuff over the summer, but we'll get into that in a second. So Tyler, what were you up to while we were away?
I did that whole learning thing where I went to school over the summer, and that was fun. Also, I joined a new Minecraft server, the Lodestar server, with a couple of friends of mine that you may know if you watch me. And I don't know. I planned on getting a tattoo and never got a tattoo. So that's my summer. It's so much fun and exciting when you're an adult.
Adult life is the best. And
Yeah. I didn't even go to the pool once.
See, I haven't gone to the swimming pool in years. Like, it's just not a thing for me anymore.
MC, how was your summer?
It was pretty good. I wish I went swimming, but I didn't go swimming. But now you've said swimming, and now I'm really sad that I didn't go swimming. Most of the time, I played games, and I did it fast on occasion. It was a pretty good summer, and but I want to touch on that tattoo thing you said. I've actually always wanted to get a tattoo of a Triforce on my hand because I'm a big nerd. But I've never done it because needles on hand. Oh, that's apparently one of the worst places to get a tattoo is on the top of your hand. So,
yeah.
Oh yeah. Any place like with the really close to the bone, kind of hurts a little bit, and you don't have a lot of muscle and stuff on the back of your hand to kind of prevent from going straight to the bone. It kind of hurts a lot.
Can they numb you at all? Do they have the legal right to do that?
I don't know.
There are some places that'll do that for you.
I want to go to there really badly. If I ever want to do this tattoo, I just want all right, see my hand, make it dead. Just make it entire. I don't want to even feel it if you're gonna give me a tattto.
How big do you want it? On the back of your hand, is it going to be a big tattoo or a smaller one?
It'd be a big triangle. I mean, basically the top portion of your hand, it wouldn't touch the wrist, but it would just be right under the knuckles, like your top knuckles, I guess. Well, I don't know what to call them. This is an anatomy class.
we were talking about that earlier. I called his knee and ankle, so I'm already off to a good start. So
yeah, it's like I couldn't do that because I have a natural intolerance to lidocaine, which is the modern version of Novocaine that they use. So whenever the last time I had to get dental work done, the lidocaine didn't work too well, and the same was true when I actually had to get outpatient surgery on my foot this summer. Yep, no numbing agent really worked, so yeah, it was very painful.
So you have to you doesn't work at all. It just
it does work. It's just it's hard to describe. On a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being really numb and 1 being no numb, I'm like a 2 to 3.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah,
it works. It just doesn't work as effectively as it should.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, the last time I have my last thing that I actually had to get numbing agents for was my toe. I have ingrown toenails, and they had to remove it. So they did the whole thing, and I did not know this, but if you try to insert a numbing agent too fast, it doesn't work. and you gotta slowly do it like over time. So my doctor, I guess that this is, I'm not gonna say anything bad about it, but I guess he didn't know that, and he pushed the whole thing in, and it like shot back out of like where it was, and I freaked out because I thought it was blood, like because I thought like he hit something, and that was just not a fun experience at all. So if you go to the doctor, let him know. Just go slow. Just go slow.
But I gotta go fast. I don't what?
Oh yeah.
So yeah,
Speaking
like
of,
a lot of the things that I did over the summer actually overlapped quite a bit with MC. So I was gonna kind of jump into that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I
My
didn't see you at all
summer.
this summer. What are you talking about?
Oh, of course.
He's a
Um,
figment of your imagination.
How crazy would that be if that were true?
That I just don't exist, and that my entire YouTube channel just like is a random spam bot. How would that even work? I don't understand.
Some Fight Club stuff right there.
I am
Maybe
clever
you-
bot.
Maybe MC is actually Scott. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. We ever
You
seen
never,
two of them in the
you
room
never
together?
hear us talk at the same time.
Mm.
It's true. We never talk at the same.
Time.
We don't.
Never.
Ever.
Never. Oh God. Okay. Anyway.
But yeah, so my summer consisted of as some of you guys already know, and I'm certain that there are going to be a number of new listeners for this podcast. I am actually a public school teacher. I do 8th grade. I use teacher very loosely because I do study hall. But I did actually put together and teach a course over this summer for summer school that was on podcasting and the ins and outs of YouTube. So that was one of the things that I did for the first part of this summer.
You don't have any
Second,
experience with podcasting. What do you? How did you get your qualification for podcasting, Kappa?
I have no clue.
He's never done a podcast in his life.
Never ever.
Did you teach them to take a 6-month break when your show is just it's getting going? It's like, you know what? Take a 6-month break.
Oh yeah, but that was a lot of fun actually. The students really put together some really great stuff. I wish I had the legal right to kind of show it off, but I can't. So after that point, I actually attended Zeldathon. So I'll go ahead and let MC talk about that a little bit.
Okay, so here's the basic idea for those of you who don't know what Zeldathon is. I get a bunch of nerds. I get them from all over the world. That's true. People fly in from like Sweden. Of course, we have our Canadians as well. And we all gather inside a room with 2 couches. And there's another room with a 3rd couch. And we play Zelda for 5 days straight, streaming it on the internet, telling people to give money to charity, and they do so. And at the end of the marathon, we only have 1 couch alive. But we've raised $56,000 for the oh my god, what lives? That's
National
transplant.
That's right.
Foundation NFT National Foundation for Transplant. Oh my
There we
gosh, all
go.
these charities I'm getting lost. Help. But yeah, it was pretty fun, and we broke 2 couches inside the process. It was fun.
Hashtag Team Blue Couch.
You know, that I gotta admit, that is one of the coolest things about Zeldathon for me, is that you guys go on for the 5 days, and just the amount of stuff that happens over those 5 days, and you're able to stay awake and play all these games, and that's the coolest part to me, is that you guys were able to. It takes a lot of planning, I'm guessing, to put all that stuff together.
You have no idea. Next Zeldathon prep begins in October for the one that's happening at the end of December. It's usually a good 3 months of planning that goes into it. And during the last month, it's pretty much all I can think about. I have a hard time doing my YouTube and Twitch work usually because I'm just focusing so much on Zeldathon. What was the one thing you said that I wanted to comment on? Oh, all the things that happened during the marathon. Even, as, me, the guy who founded Zeldathon and who's been at every single Zeldathon, there's still Zeldathon content I haven't seen because I was asleep, you know. So there's so much Zeldathon out there that even I haven't seen it all, you know.
Yeah, and
So
it was really great because this was the first Zeldathon that I was, an attendee as opposed to just a viewer. And it's really a much different experience that way. And unfortunately, I've heard from a lot of people that once you're an attendee, viewing it is just never the same. So we'll see how that goes.
it's like the people that play professional sports and then they go into casting or talking about professional sports. They just can't really get back. It's never the same. As much as you want to live in that whole life, and not being there kind of sucks.
Yeah,
I'm
I mean,
guessing that's kind of how it is.
think about Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher. They never got to get the Star Wars experience.
True. Never thought about it that way.
I mean, wouldn't that suck to never be able to like experience Star Wars?
Zeldathon is Star Wars.
Confirmed.
I'd be Darth Vader.
But speaking of Zeldathon and it's in the title, there is some new Zelda content coming out. It's coming up pretty soon. I'm not sure on the actual release date. I'm sure MC has it down on his hand or something. The Wind Waker HD remake. Which I'm gonna admit it right now, and MC, don't scream. I've never played the Wind Waker.
It okay.
You accepted that much. You accepted that much more graceful than I expected.
Well, here's the deal. Do you have a Wii U yet?
No, I do not.
Well, there's this great bundle coming out. It's $300. You get a Wii U and you get a copy of the game. Buy it, and I won't be angry. It okay? This is a perfect opportunity to jump back in and play, in my opinion, my favorite game of all time, and inside a whole new way. I am not a Nintendo salesperson, although I started to feel like one in the middle of that sentence.
That's okay. I'm sure we all feel somewhat markety when we
That comes
talk
out
about
September
our favorite
20th.
consoles.
Pre-order at GameStop.com, Nintendo.com, Domino's.com.
Got to get that Domino's. Got to get Scotty to bring you the good stuff.
But this brings up another thing. I am a huge Kingdom Hearts fan, though I never played the ones on the handheld because I don't own any handheld systems. And they're making the Kingdom Hearts 1.5 HD remake, which is all the handheld games on a console. And I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm not really sure how. I'm not sure. I know besides the upgraded looks, I'm not really sure how much different the Wind Waker HD is from the original Wind Waker. Are they changing anything for it?
They
that you know of?
They are. There was a feature in the original Wind Waker known as the Tingle Tuner. That was a part of the game where you got an item in the game that allowed you to hook up your Game Boy Advance SP and use that for extra features. Character named Tingle. What's that?
Getting items like that. It was basically an item shop for you.
Yeah, pretty much. You could get a bomb. You could get instantly healed, stuff like that. Because there's really no connective feature between like the Nintendo 3DS and the Wii U in the same way that you had Tingle Tuner, they just kind of.
I want to make a quick note. There is that feature, but Nintendo decided it wasn't cool enough. So I don't know. I'm just okay. I'll be hello.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't have a Wii U at this point, so I don't really know what the ins and outs of the features like that are. But yeah, they completely got rid of the feature from the game, and they put in a new feature that's kind of similar. So I'll let MC go ahead and talk about that.
It's called the Tingle Bottle. So we went from this cool little Game Boy Advance thing to a Tingle Tuner, or to a bottle, and it's not the same really much, except you get it from Tingle, like inside the same place in the game as you would have got it, got the tuner, and so you get the bottle, and you're able to go out to the ocean, because as you know, this game features a pretty big ocean. You're able to go out to the beach, write a nice little message, and throw your bottle in the ocean, and occasionally other bottles will show up on your like beach shores. that like from other players, and there'll be like little messages written inside them, so you can communicate with other players and get spoiled on the game's ending before you finish the game and on stuff like that.
I can see that being horribly abused by
Although,
people. But
uh,
I'm hoping Nintendo fans are a little more mature than, let's say, like, I don't know.
Call of
Oh,
Duty
what is-
dogs.
I was gonna say, what's the Dead game? It's really hard. Man, I can't remember. Oh,
What?
Dead Souls.
Oh,
Dead Souls, where you can put the messages on the ground for other people to read in other games, where a
Dark
lot of
Souls.
people like Dark Souls, not Dead Souls.
okay.
Long
You
day.
you had me really confused there for a second. I was like, well, wait.
Yeah.
But no, you're completely right. Like people use that, but actually Nintendo is, because they're Nintendo, they're very family friendly. They're really strict with how they do stuff. They will remove things that contain spoilers, or you can actually, when you like make those posts, you can actually mark them as containing spoilers. So and they have pretty good at recognizing. They do check every message before it goes out.
And
So
I'd like to think that the people who play the Wind Waker HD aren't going to be like the kind of hyper competitive sort of players who are going to be from that crowd that would like to spoil and ruin things. So, and I'm generalizing, big time here, but that's kind of the feeling that I get.
Well, I kind of felt that way too. I was hoping that it wouldn't be that when these guys came in, there wasn't going to be a bunch of trolls playing the game, throwing out bottles everywhere. And I don't
just
know.
get hit in the face with a
That
bottle.
was just my hope.
But yeah, in addition to that, there's a couple of other features that are being added in. Um, like a lot of analysis has been done by fans in the community on footage that was released of the gameplay and stuff, and the consensus is that they're using the same player models, the same basic coding and stuff like that for the game, and that it just has updated graphics. But there are also
Textures,
updated features.
shaders, and lighting.
Yeah, and like one of the features that they're adding to the game is the ability to fast sail, because in the old GameCube game, you weren't able to have like a turbo mode on the King of Red Lions. Like the ship moved really slow in between islands, so that was one of the main criticisms of the game back in the day, was that there's just too much sailing. So that's one thing that they changed.
That basically the fast sail will allow you to not only go faster than normally, but it disregards your wind direction, so you don't have to set the wind to the proper direction to sail with it, apparently, which is really like broken in my opinion. But it sounds pretty cool. Something else, because basically overall there were two big complaints with the pacing of the game. One was the sailing speed, and the other one was there's a quest at the end. I don't want to get into the details, where you had to go and collect 7 items, pay 3,184 rupees, which was a ton. Like it took a long time to farm that many, and then with those you're able to find 7 more items. This time they basically made it 6 items plus 7, so it'll be instead of 14. It will be basic math 13. Am I doing my math right?
Yeah,
No.
yeah, I think so.
No, it's gonna be 10.
Oh.
10
okay.
compared to 14, and you're going to not need that much of a rupee requirement, so you're not going to have to farm everywhere, which is really neato.
And there's also some other rumors about that that part of the end game that in addition to the lower rupee costs and the lower item costs, that there's also going to be what am I thinking of here? I honestly just lost my train of thought. There's one other component to that people are kind of the idea is kind of circulating around about that.
I have no idea what that is.
It's an interesting testament to the game, though, and this is something I thought about, that if they're not, these are kind of little nitpicky things. These aren't major overhauls to the game, in my opinion. From what you're telling me, I'm sure you maybe have a different opinion on that. But is it a testament to the game of how well it was made the first time, that they don't have to go back through and change all this stuff to make anybody happy? I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's just my overestimate of the whole, or overestimation of the whole thing. But it seems like the game is pretty well received with the fans, and there's not much major issues that they have to go back and fix.
Correct. I mean, of course, like I said, it's my favorite game of all time. So to me, I'm a little biased that it was a very good game originally, and what they're changing is very small things that overall will enhance the game experience. Um, because one thing I always like to say is, while it's my favorite game of all time, I recognize that it's not the best game of all time. There are small things that could be improved, and overall, the things that I find less than awesome about the game are being fixed with this. So maybe the Wind Waker HD is going to be my new favorite game of all time and best game of all time overall, in my opinion. Um, Something related to that. Hold on, my train of thought. It's gonna go. It's gonna go. It's gonna come. It's gonna be here. It's gonna be great, and I cannot wait for when my it's gone.
The train did not arrive at the station.
But yeah, I
One
mean,
thing I found. Oh, go ahead, Scott.
yeah, like
Talking over you.
the Wind Waker is definitely one of my favorite games as well. Like it's the only game that I have ever pre-ordered. I pre-ordered it for the GameCube back when I was 12, and I picked it up the day it came out, played it through pretty much as I could because it came out over spring break that year. I remember, or no, it didn't. It came out in the winter, so I played it during school, or while school was in session. I'm just stumbling all over my words. But one of the things that was being criticized about the game at the time was its graphics style. For those who don't know, The Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker has a cel-shaded style that was at the time pretty advanced for both the hardware and the art, because video games had tried cel shading before, but in a lot of people's opinions, this game was the first that really got the look down really well. And there was actually a lot of criticism at the time about the style that was chosen for the game, because it was radically different than the previous two 3D Zeldas, Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. And actually, at the time, being 12-year-old me, I knew everything and was super smart. I also did not like the graphic style. But even today, I would say that the GameCube version of the game graphically still holds up incredibly well, even compared to modern standards. So I think that's a testament for how awesome the game is on its own. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what the graphics are going to be like with all the HD updates and stuff.
I
You know,
have my thoughts. Hold on. This is really quick. I remembered what I wanted to say. Yeah, it's that one thing about this game, and one of the reasons why we're seeing new features, but we're not seeing like major overhauls to the game, is not only because Nintendo thinks it was a good game originally, which I agree with, but Nintendo is also a very lazy company. This is very much truth. They Ocarina of Time 3D was the same way. They basically just redid the graphics. They had one or two reorchestrations of songs, and they put it out there, fixing a few things in part of the game as well. It overall was not a huge, thing. And that's what Nintendo does. They're pretty lazy about the remakes, but as it was stated, this was not supposed to be a whole new experience. This is supposed to be the Wind Waker HD, and I think that they've done their job as making it thus.
Indeed. And
you know,
MC, what would your thoughts be on the fact that they are going through and possibly fixing some of the glitches found in the original Wind Waker?
I can always play the original game. That is my opinion.
that's a good way to look at it. It's like a silver lining type of thing.
Indeed, and that is the opinion of Cosmo as well, and mine, that we will always have the original game, and we will always be able to speedrun that game, no matter what happens with the Wind Waker HD.
I was gonna bring this up when you were talking about this is the only game you ever pre-ordered. I was watching your Good Morning Minecraft, and I was also watching another one of my favorite video game reviewers, Adam Sessler. And you guys both brought up the fact that the game, Wind Waker HD, is going to be coming out 2 weeks early on, through the digital. You can download it online and play it 2 weeks before the actual physical copy comes out. that is very interesting to me that they're doing that. And I know I from a customer standpoint, MC, I know you have a little bit of a different opinion on this. I think, but from a an overall standpoint, I think that is awesome that they're doing this because this may I'm not sure if it will, but it may lead to other companies doing this for other games. When they go gold and the game's good and finished, that's when that's when it comes out. That could be the time they could release it 2 weeks early, and that could be the solution to a lot of companies' worries about pre or used game sales, is putting out this digital copy first and then having the physical copy come out at a later time period, kind of you know pushing this idea that the if you buy the game and you can't sell it back, that you can play it first. And I don't know how you guys think view this thing, but I think it's a pretty interesting idea that Nintendo's doing. I had no idea that Nintendo was going to do it first, but I don't know.
For me, I can sum it up really simply. Digital distribution of video games is the future, and whether you like it or not, you're going to have to be dragged, kicked, and screaming toward it. I love physical media myself. I'm a big physical media kind of guy. I like having my games on disc. It's just the way it is. That's not so true with PC games because Steam is just so wonderful and cheap and easy. But I think Nintendo did a good job with that, actually. I think it's a fantastic business decision.
Okay, so here comes MC with his opinions. So I am not happy about the way they've been handling it, but that's because I am a niche market right now for them. I am a collector, which is someone who Nintendo likes a lot in a lot of ways because we buy a lot of their stuff. I collect Legend of Zelda things, and so I want everything to do with the Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker HD when it comes out. Otherwise, if I don't purchase it when it comes out, it's going to be much more expensive on eBay later on. So this is the way they're doing it. If I want the digital copy of the game when it first comes out at midnight, so I can play this game and enjoy it like the first thing, I can be one of the first people in the world to play this game, I have to buy it on September 20th for $50 off of their digital distribution, the eShop. However, on the same day, they're releasing a Wii U bundle that I talked about earlier for $300. It includes a digital download code for the game and a special edition of the Wii U with a fancy collector's edition gamepad. I want that. I can't afford a $300 system, though, so I'm going to have to skip that. And then there is going to be, on October 4th, they're going to be releasing the physical version of the game, the retail version. They're going to have both the version that you can go buy in the store, and if you pre-order at GameStop, you can get one that includes a special figurine. And that is where the woes of a collector comes in, because I'm going to be buying the September 20th edition so I can play it on my Wii U that I already have sitting right next to me. I can touch it right now. I'm touching it right now, just so you know. It feels good. And then I can... what I'm going to do, I already have it. I had to change my Amazon pre-order, cancel that, and put the money into GameStop so I can get my special figurine and a retail copy. So overall, I'm going to be like down $110 thanks to the Wind Waker HD. But if I also wanted to get the system, the special system, that'd be another $300. So $410 for the complete Wind Waker experience is kind of insane in my opinion.
Yeah, that was the other thing that I was going to touch on, is while I think that the idea of releasing the game digitally like a couple weeks beforehand and then releasing the physical copy is kind of cool. At the same time, I completely agree with you, MC. I was not happy when I learned that Nintendo was doing so many different combinations of release bundles for the Wind Waker HD. In my opinion, it should have been digital copy goes on sale September 20th on the eShop, and then if you pre-ordered with GameStop, you get everything. Or you could pick and choose a package for yourself, something like that.
You should be able to get discounts on the other stuff.
Yes.
Like if you are a September 20th first day buyer of the digital version, for $10 you should be able to get that pre-order figurine.
Yeah, I
and maybe the
definitely
copy of the
agree.
game. And if you bought the day one version of the Wii U, you should be able to get that code immediately, and you should be able to also be able to say, "Here's $10 more, and I want the figurine too, because I'm gonna have now 3 versions of the game." You know, it's insane. So I think that $410 for 3 copies of the game, a special Wii U, and a figurine, while it fits the price, I don't necessarily need 3 copies of the Wind Waker.
Isn't this kind of though? Don't they kind of understand that you guys that are collectors are out there, and I mean,
Yeah.
as you said, this is a company about money. Could they? I mean, they probably expected a little
Oh
bit of
yeah.
people being upset, but at the same time, you think they're kind of giving people what they want in a way. I mean,
Oh well.
people are saying, I'm a collector, I want more Legend of Zelda stuff, and they're going, well, okay, we'll give you all this Legend of Zelda stuff, and then people are going, oh man, this is so much money for all this Legend of Zelda stuff, and
Well,
it's kind of
okay.
you know, uh, it's kind of a double-edged sword for them, I guess, in a way.
Here's the best way to summarize it. Because while I'm upset, I understand, because first of all, like I said, collectors are a niche market, and what the collectors do is what we do is we spend a lot of money on stuff that we're going to look at. So you might I have to accept it. That like, and if you don't spend that $410 now to get the entire experience, which I'm not doing, I can't afford it for that much. If you don't buy it now, you're going to have to pay $600, $700 on eBay in a year. So
Or
that's the catch-22 of it.
Or you could, this is probably going to be the thing. One of, a good friend of yours, as in Scott or Tyler, could maybe buy one of those extra consoles and just, trade you. Just saying.
That
That's an
would be a good
option.
idea.
Try to save you some money there. But, with this game coming out, how much is this going to change what you guys do for, streaming and stuff, speed runs? Is it going to change, monumentally, like this is going to expand the whole experience, or is it going to kind of ruin a lot of what you're already doing?
I'll go ahead and touch on that first. I'm At this point, I'm planning on getting a Wii U and the Wind Waker HD at some point. Not sure when, but when I do get it, I am definitely going to be looking at what prominent speedrunners in the Wind Waker are doing in terms of looking for glitches, routing, stuff like that, because I think that it would be a really fun game to try and speedrun. Because in a way, like when you're speedrunning in a game or even just like a new game, it's kind of like you're competing against the game itself, you're competing against yourself, but in a way you're kind of competing when something like this comes out, you're competing against the programmers who are trying to fix glitches and stuff. So figuring out new ways to break the game is kind of fun, and I kind of want to help contribute to that in some small way because I know a bit about the GameCube game and I want to see what sort of stuff translates to the remake.
Well,
Hmm.
the big thing about the Wind Waker HD and among the speedrun community, during like there have been a couple demos that people could go to and Best Buy and stuff. People would come back with mixed reports on glitches that do and don't exist, with only one video actually existing, actually showing a glitch happening. And overall, when it comes to right now the speedrun ability of the Wind Waker HD, we have no idea, and we won't know until we're sitting there with the copy of the game inside our Wii U's and playing it. And the funny thing is, we always make jokes because we play old games typically inside the speedrun community. And sometimes when we can't perform a trick or a glitch exactly how we want to, and it just isn't working for some reason, and it's our fault, a lot of times the joke is, hey, they patched it. Well, guess what? They can patch it for the Wii U release, so hopefully people don't go yelling and screaming about these glitches, and Nintendo goes and
Yeah.
fixes them, because that's a possibility now. Overall, with the Wind Waker HD, though, my expectations is that we're not going to be finding new glitches. I think we're going to be finding the same
Yep.
glitches. I don't think there's going to be anything new because, like I said, Nintendo is very lazy they may fix what was already there, but they're not going to add. So
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
it's just a rumor, and it's very much a rumor right now because again, like the game isn't out. People have been giving mixed reports from the demos and stuff like that. But one of the things that I did hear, I don't have enough time to quickly summarize some of the strats and glitches that are in the Wind Waker. But for those in the know, dry storage rather, is a prominent glitch in speedrunning the Wind Waker, and there have been reports that it does work in the new game. However, one of the rumors that I heard from a couple of sources that are fairly credible was that Nintendo has been putting invisible walls and ledges on popular spots to get storage. So that'll be kind of interesting to see if that's actually true or not.
Okay, that's interesting. But the it's gonna this game. I know with like a GameCube game, there's not really much option available to Nintendo to go out and later patch some of these things. So with the new with the new Wind Waker, if they come out and they say, hey, we've noticed that all these people are reporting this one glitch that a lot of speedrunners used. We're going to come out with a patch of the game that you have to download to play the game that fixes that. I'm guessing that a lot of people are going to just revert back to the GameCube version if it starts happening.
The other option always exists, that people will buy the retail version of the game and they will never connect their Wii U to the internet whenever they start to play it because it will not register as there being an update available. Mm-hmm. That is the alternate way. That same type of thing actually happens currently with such like Half-Life 2 speedruns, Portal speedruns. There are glitches that exist inside versions of the game that Valve later patches out, but they actually either install an earlier version of the game or they opt to never update it.
Well, I guess that is an option.
Yeah, that's basically how it would probably happen if all of a sudden, like I said, that glitch called storage, which is a so for like what Scott was basically saying is that the glitch is not being patched, but the means of getting the glitch are being looked at. So
yeah, because the way the storage works, it has to do with how cutscenes, not just like cinematic cutscenes, but pre-scripted motions in the game function at the code level, and so it'd be really difficult to get rid of storage in the code. But again, Nintendo can cosmetically patch it, for lack of a better term.
Nintendo is lazy, and they will cosmetically patch it rather than going and fixing the code.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Absolutely.
This kind of brings us to another topic that you keep saying Nintendo is lazy. Do you think the 2DS is a result of their laziness, or they're actually speaking to consumer needs?
I have really big opinions on the 2DS right here.
I do too.
I've been looking at the 2DS, and as I've said before, I do not own any handheld consoles or handheld devices besides maybe my phone to play games on. And the 2DS, from what I've heard, is a pretty good device from everything that I know about it. And again, I'm not a Nintendo person, but it seems like something that I would enjoy. And this is a guy that doesn't really care about all the 3D stuff, and it does seem a little bit on the bigger side that you can't just carry around with you, maybe in your pocket. But I don't know. From what I've seen of it, it looks pretty nice. I mean, I'm sure you guys have much more deeper opinions than I do. So
I'll let MC go first.
Okay, well, first of all, Tyler, your opinions are valid because that you as a consumer who hasn't bought into Nintendo's handhelds, that's the exact market they're hoping to hear from, and you basically just said right there that it's something that does look pretty interesting, except for maybe the size. And it's not meant to be something that you put inside your pocket. 3DS even is not something that I would put in my pocket. I do occasionally, but here's the deal. Even though I'm wearing tight-fitting pants and stuff, my pants will start to slip down because I have this 3DS in my pocket. It's a pretty heavy thing. So all consoles, whether they fit in your pocket or not, I don't think they're really meant anymore for that type of pocket carrying. But they do come with a nice little slip bag if you get a 2DS. Anyway, one thing I would talk about is the 2DS. It's going to be $120, I think. It's $40 cheaper than the 3DS. And the big feature is that it doesn't fold and it doesn't do 3D. Both of which to me are fine. It doesn't fold because it is using only one screen divided by plastic. So it looks like two screens, but in reality it's just one big screen in there. That's why you can't fold it. It's to cut down on costs. And it doesn't do 3D. Now, for me, this is a really, really cool thing because I'm a person who can't see 3D. If I go to 3D movies, I can't see it. I've gone to like 3 3D movies, and each time I expect to go and have it work. Maybe I was wearing my glasses wrong. No, I cannot see 3D. My 3DS is the same way. I can turn off the slider, and I can get some sort of like weird effect out of it. Like I can tell it's trying to do something, but it does not feel 3D at all. It doesn't look 3D. It just looks like a mess.
A friend that is kind of like that. He actually doesn't like 3D at all, and not only does it not work for him, he can't really see it, but he also makes him kind of sick to actually see some of that stuff. So I'm guessing this would be a kind of a better product for him, even though I know with the original 3DS you can turn off the 3D if you really want to.
Yeah, I play my 3DS with the 3D off pretty much 100% of the time.
So the big thing is, do you really want to pay $40 more for a console that folds? That is the big thing. If you're not a fan of 3D, this is the system for you. If you really want a folding one, please spend $40 on the folding feature of the 3DS. The only thing I don't like about it is the colors they chose. I don't mind the design. The design looks like it would fit great in your hands. Nintendo is great with designing controllers and consoles that fit well in your hands, so I have no doubt in this. However, the color choices were poor, in my opinion. But that's all I have to say on the matter.
I think
that might change in the future.
My original 3DS that I have is fairly uncomfortable for my hands, and that's like the first Nintendo handheld that I've had problems with. Like my Game Boy, my Game Boy Color, my Game Boy Advance, and my Game Boy Advance SP, all wonderfully comfortable. And I prefer, out of those systems I just listed, I prefer to play my Game Boy Advance SP, as weird as that is. Like, that's, to me, a really comfy system. But my 3DS isn't too comfy in my hands. However, I have played a 3DS XL quite a bit, and that is a super comfy system. I'm really upset that I didn't, splurge for that instead.
Well, yeah, that's mostly just because, I'm sorry, Scott, to tell you this, but we're adults, and we should probably buy consoles that are better fitted for our hands, because Nintendo is a company that mainly targets kids. So when they design the 3DS, yes, it'll work for us. Like, I have a 3DS as well, and I can play with it for a couple hours at a time. But it's not the ideal experience. Get a 3DS XL, I guess, is if you like, and Nintendo's being. I just kind of blew my mind. I just now looked at this. They're aiming the 2DS towards the younger market. The kids, when parents have like 3, 5 to 8-year-old kids, and they need some game consoles not to share. You get them a couple of these 2DSs that's marketed towards that age range, 5 to 8. After that, you have the 3DS, and that'll last you until preteens, a little bit more. And then after that, you're gonna start, you're gonna have bigger hands. You're gonna start becoming an adult. And then they have the 3DS XL, which I just realized they basically have 3 versions of the 3DS that fit their all 3 markets pretty well.
That's a great way to look at it, actually.
And hey, when you get older, you make more money too, so you should be able to splurge on it.
Is it sad that I'm looking at that? Is it sad that I'm looking at the 2DS and going, yeah, I really want that one? Then now you're telling me that's marketed more towards kids. I'm looking at that. I'm going,
towards them, but it's not specifically for them, obviously.
But yeah, I one thing that was interesting to me is the kind of the materials almost that it's made out of. I know that it's kind of a little bit more durable almost, from what I've heard, and I'm guessing that's to go along with the younger audience it's marketed towards, is kids that might happen to throw one over the balcony into your car.
You know those giant cameras that they give to kids, like they're like 5-inch thick plastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, like on the 2DS, like the way I found out about it was I stumbled upon the parody commercial on Reddit, And I had not seen anything prior to that, so I looked at that and I was like, "Oh, that's a clever parody of Nintendo. What a great joke!" And then, like 5 minutes later, I found out it was real, and I was like, "Oh." um, but yeah, thinking about it more, I think it's a good business decision by Nintendo, coming out with a cheaper version of the console that plays all the same games and again is marketed towards the younger crowd. I think it's a great decision, um, but at the same time, it looks kind of goofy to me. But I mean, it's whatever. It's going to be a good system. I predict that it will sell well, mostly due to its price point, and it's good for Nintendo.
I mean, when you're looking at its competitors are Nintendo, and the Vita. And the Vita is so overpriced that it's not even going to be. If you're a parent and you're looking, okay, my kid wants to play video games on the go because they are a child. That's what they do. And here we have the Vita. Okay, that's a little expensive. Let's see what Nintendo has to offer. Ooh, 3DS XL, too expensive. 3DS, ooh, wow, that's still pretty 2DS. Now that sounds like something I could get behind. Have my money, Nintendo, and Nintendo rolls in it, and Reggie has a good day.
It just
know,
prints money.
I think that's something Sony is actually looking to change a little bit with the upcoming release of the PS4. Is there is a version or a package of the PS4 that's $500, or I think that's it's the same price as the Xbox One, but only with that you get a Vita.
Oh wow,
Um,
really?
yeah, and
Really,
actually,
that's happening?
That's actually kind of really
From-
Shut up
awesome.
and take my money.
from what I remember of
I
from
will actually have to seriously look into that because here's the thing. I love Nintendo, and I have for a very long time. For a while there, during my teenage years, I kind of shunned Nintendo. I was like, oh, Xbox. No, that was a dumb decision. But here's the thing. Like, I'm really impressed with what Sony has done between the PlayStation 3 and where they are right now and where they're going with the future. Like, I think that their online subscription service is fantastic. They give their customers a ton of really cool free stuff. The
Mhm.
connectivity between the PS Vita and the PS4 or the PS3 and your account with Sony, I think that's all really awesome. Um, so I think where they're going as a company is great. They're doing a lot of good things that are good for the industry. Whereas, Microsoft is just, whatever.
But yeah, I remember hearing about that console, that package and I was just thinking to myself, I could get an Xbox One, or I could get a PlayStation for $100, but I can't, with the PS4 and the Vita package, I could get two consoles that I've never owned before for the same price as I can get one console with Microsoft, and that's a bigger selling point to me. The lower price before was a selling point, but it wasn't that much because I'm still getting a console either way, even though you're spending less money. But getting two consoles for the same price as one, now that's a selling point to me. That's a much bigger selling point than just the price difference. At least from my end. So I don't know. Looking forward to the upcoming holiday releases of these consoles to see what they all have to offer.
Research shows that it's only a rumor right now, the PS4 Vita bundle. But Sony, you're not listening to this, but do it. I got my hands on a Vita when during Zeldathon when Shadow, one of the team members, had one, and I did a full review. I was sitting inside the tech room off camera, and I was picking up everybody's consoles, things that I hadn't ever seen before, and I was just doing first impression reviews on all of them. And the Vita got high marks, and I want one. It's just too expensive, but I want to get a PS4. So if you can bundle them, hey, my phone, hello phone. um, um, if you can bundle them, by all means, I will buy it. Buy it.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a rumor. I remember reading about it somewhere. So thanks for letting being the voice of truth here and not just rumor mill Tyler. So thanks for that. But yeah, that is definitely something I'm looking into if they actually do that, because much better. As I said, I don't own a handheld console. I'm looking into one because it's nice for sitting around. I have a lot of time where I'm not at home, but I'm kind of in that in between state where I'm waiting for other people or other things. So having a little handheld console would actually be really nice,
Definitely.
and it would get me off of arguing on Reddit with people. So
Yeah, that's the thing. Uh, like the whole fanboyism thing, just to me gets really old. Like
oh yeah.
I really like what Sony's doing. I think that their business model is great. I think that what they're doing for the industry is pretty good, especially in light of the recent fiasco with Microsoft. Like, I understand what Microsoft was trying to do, but they went about it all wrong. Because like I said earlier, digital distribution is the future of gaming. I mean, in 40, 50 years, are we going to be buying physical copies of games at GameStop? No, it's ridiculous. But the way that Microsoft was trying to do it, they were trying to go for market disruption and completely revolutionizing everything, and they just fell flat on their face because they went about it all wrong. So
Well, they didn't show the positive sides of it. Kind of like what the Wind Waker's doing is, hey, we can make this game come out earlier and you can play it day one. It's great. You don't have to wait for the discs to be made and printed and packaged into a thing and shipped to GameStop. You can come out right now. That's showing a positive side of it. As whereas, Microsoft, they really didn't do that. They came out with all this, they came out with all the cloud storage and all that, but they didn't really say what the benefit of it was. If they came out, I guarantee you, if Microsoft would have came out and said, all our games are going to be $10 cheaper than Sony if they're on digital, that would have won over everyone.
Well, here's what I have to say about that. You're very right. Microsoft didn't put a good spin on it, and that's because they released all those details about all these restricted features not during their press conferences or anything. Like, they didn't have a chance to actually put them inside the light. Instead, they snuck them on a blog, and then nobody reads until something tragic happens and everybody goes and reads it. But yeah, it was kind of like they just kind of snuck on the details rather than advertising it like a system that is online, the full experience or whatever.
Yeah,
the full
they didn't
experience.
They instead of giving the consumers a good impression of what was the good parts about it, they used a bunch of marketing buzzwords like always always connected and the cloud and stuff like that. These revolutionary ideas that everyone just kind of saw right through.
You are literally going to have a relationship with your television.
Yeah,
and
stuff like that is
always connected. I don't like that because
no, that's no good.
Because it's I think you were very right about it being a very good buzzword. Always connected, but it doesn't explain what if I'm not connected. Well, then you're not always connected, and therefore your Xbox One is not going to work. You have to be always. It should have been. You have to be always connected, not just always connected.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where as like if your mom is watching this thing and she sees it's always connected, you're never offline, the first thing she thinks is, man, you know how many times my internet goes down like a week? Man, if I can keep my son's console running all the time, he's gonna be so happy. But your average gamer who sits there goes always connected, oh god, that's just the first reaction people get from it. Yeah. That's the problem with these press conferences. They didn't market it. That's what Sony did. Sony marketed towards the gamer, and Microsoft marketed towards buying the console for their kid, which is not usually the best thing to do at these type of events.
Because the gamers that actually want the thing, if they're younger, they will beg their moms and dads, and that will be that is your marketing towards parents. You don't need to market towards the parents. Market towards the kids, and the kids will market towards the parents. That's what kids do. That's what they have a list for Christmas. This is exactly the show that your advertising works. Is when a kid puts down your product on their Christmas list. That's when your advertising has worked. And I think that Sony was smart about advertising towards those people, not towards the parents and being the Microsoft business decisions. by the way, I'm going to give a total jerk shout out. I have some really great opinions on this, and I don't want to spoil my words, but it's coming later this week on Good Morning Mindcrack. YouTube.com/SuperMCGamer. Love you guys. See you there.
You
I
know,
was actually going to mention that towards the end, but you already got it.
speaking of the end, we're kind of running out of time here a little bit. You want to end up with our final question, Scott?
Yeah, so for those of you who have listened to the podcast in the past, you know that this is the portion where we get to user-submitted questions. Just so you know, down in the description, if you're listening to this on YouTube, there's going to be a Google Submit form where you can send your questions and stuff like that for future episodes. So today we just kind of came up with our own question, which is, what are some of your favorite regional or coast-specific fast food places or convenience stores?
I'll take that one right off the bat. I am a big fan of Bojangles. Bojangles fast food. I don't eat. Here's the thing. I don't eat meat. But I still love Bojangles because I don't know. There's something about the food there. While it's super greasy and unhealthy, it does taste a lot better than your food that you're getting from McDonald's and all these kind of national fast food places. I don't know. It seems a little more less fast foody somehow. I don't know. That's mine.
I think for me, if I had to choose one regional thing, like for the DC area, and this used to be much more true in the past, Five Guys Burgers pretty much
We got some
originated
Five
in the
Guys up
DC
here.
area. Oh yeah, they've expanded quite a bit in the last 10 years or so, but it started out as a DC area kind of thing. And their burgers are fantastic. And I do want to point out, since we are talking about coast specific and regional fast food stuff,
Here it
that Five Guys Burgers actually beat In-N-Out Burgers in a national taste test. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something else. Never mind. I'll be in my corner. We have Tim Hortons up here in by Canada. I went there once, but I went to their ice cream section, which was like called Cold Stone. I don't know if that's regional too, but it was
Cold Stone
delicious.
is
we have Cold
relatively
Stone down here.
big. I'm not really sure though. I don't know if that's on the West Coast, but I know it's on the East Coast at least.
You want to talk about that East Coast convenience store, the best thing in the world? What's it
Oh,
called,
boy.
Scott?
Oh, it's just a little place called Sheets. It is so good.
I like, one thing that's good about Sheets, it's open all the time.
And they make
yes.
food there all the time that's really good. Like I mean, yeah, it's still unhealthy because it's made in 5 minutes, but it's made by an actual person and it tastes good. It's made to order. It's not just like I'll have a number one.
Yeah, and then they pull like a hamburger off the shelf that's been under a lamp the whole day. Yeah, I like the place. It's good.
I was able to introduce everyone at Zeldathon to the magic that is Sheets. So we got MC to try out Sheets. I got Pause on Pause to try out Sheets. He loves it now. So I mission success.
Did you hold on? Does Pause have them where he lives?
Nope.
You are an evil person. So what you did was you introduced him to a thing he's never going to get unless he comes across the country.
First Sheets is free.
you get a taste, and then you're gonna want to come back for more.
Made to order, only at Sheets.
Oh man, we have turned into marketing now. We're just marketing all the.
This podcast is sponsored by Domino's.com.
Oh man, that's great.
But yeah, so Sheets is really good. It's a good convenience store. And of course, 7-Eleven is also a great convenience store.
Actually, you know what? I think 7-Eleven is a more northern thing. We don't have many of them down in the South here.
You sure? You sure about that? Because whenever I go traveling through the South, there's always 7-Elevens around.
There's some around, but they're not as popular as they are up north. I've noticed that. Because I go to DC all the time. Most of my family lives there, and they're a lot more frequent. I mean, I don't know any in the area that I live in. I don't know any 7-Elevens, but I do know a couple down by the beach areas. So they're a lot less frequent down here. I know they're around, but they're a bigger northern thing than they are
I know
down
where
south.
all the Sheets and all the 7-Elevens are in the DC area, so I'm prepared for AGDQ.
Um, I think that's a good place to head off for the time being. I think we've answered that question fully.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
totally
So
forgot how to end the podcast though, so I'll let you do
well,
that.
for this week, since we're still just trying to get back into things, we're probably, and Tyler, you can jump in here and correct me if I'm wrong. We're going to try and do this weekly once again.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure if we're going to have a specific like release day every week, but we'll try and do this every 7 days from now on. Secondly, I'm pretty sure that we're only going to be putting this up on my YouTube channel, and then we're also going to be releasing an MP3. So and Tyler, did you want to put this up on your channel as well, or?
I could. We'll discuss it afterwards.
Yeah,
See what
we'll
happens.
figure it out. So yeah, that's what we have in store for you guys. And again, like I said, down in the description, there should be a Google document that you could submit questions to and be featured in future episodes.
Hey,
And-
wait. You didn't ask me if I could put it up on my YouTube channel. I'm so mad.
Do you want to?
No, I'm good. Thanks. So.
Okay. Well, there we go.
So yeah, you can find me on YouTube, of course, youtube.com/GreatScottLP. You can find me on Twitch, same thing, Twitter, same thing. I have all the channels coordinated now. It's great.
Just Google search you as Dead99. You'll find me. that's
of
how
course,
you find me. I'm everywhere.
MC is.
I am SuperMCGamer on Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, MySpace, Sulia, Go Nintendo, Reddit, Imgur,
You have a
Microsoft
MySpace?
Security Essentials, Domino's.com, and PizzaHut.com for when Domino's is closed.
You wanna know something funny? My pizza profile name on Domino's.com is Great Scott LP. I'm such
That's
a
right.
loser.
Good man. Good man.
Oh man, I used my actual name. I should go change that.
But MC, you have a MySpace?
Oh, most of those were a lie.
I was about to say, it's like I'm gonna go look for that. All right. Well, anyway, thank you so much for joining us, MC. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you, viewers, for sticking around this long. My name is Scott.
My name's Tyler.
And thank you for listening to the Somewhat Underrated podcast. See you next week. Bye.
There'll be no more listening tonight.
Perfect.